Hello everyone and welcome back to the Winning Agenda. My name's Jesse Muleman Marshall. Today we've got a beta box opening. Beta is finally here. I hope you've been enjoying all the other beta coverage on the channel. It's been wonderful to get involved in the preview season, showcasing the new avatars, particularly the Flamecaller and the Wave Shaper here on the Winning Agenda, and to have the chance to play some great games with Hayne over at Wizard's Den. If you haven't checked those out, I highly encourage you to do so. Also, it was really great to have the opportunity to showcase some of my favorite cards that I've seen in the beta set so far, including a very special curio in another video which you can catch on the channel this week. But here today, we're going to just be opening a box of beta, having a bit of a chat about the set, and hopefully finding some pretty cool things inside. So let's dive straight in. So we've got a sealed box of beta here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the seal, get ourselves in. So I've opened a few boxes of beta so far, been enjoying the set very much. It's obviously all the same cards as Alpha -1. My experience so far suggests that the community was probably right, that it was Eric's Curiosa that is the excluded card, although I haven't actually been through all of the cards to make sure. By the time this video comes out, that may well have been confirmed by the company. But that's okay. No one's going to really miss Eric's Curiosa, I don't think, as a card. And it does give quite funny and cool little trinket that is special to Alpha and unique to the Alpha set. But certainly a lot of people talking about things like, are we going to have foils in beta? Are they going to be double-sided? Are we going to have curios in beta? All those things have turned out to be here. The company confirmed towards the end of last week, when there was a bit of speculation about perhaps no double-sided foils in beta. The company came out and confirmed that, and that's certainly been my experience so far. One thing to note about beta boxes compared with alpha boxes is that with 36 packs compared to 39 packs in alpha, you do get slightly fewer foils and uniques on average in a box, because you're losing a few packs there. But that's okay. Actually, we're going to put these packs just sort of off to the side there so we have maximum space to show off the cards. All right, so let's get started with the first pack. So the card quality in beta as well, I've noticed a few print variations between different boxes. Some boxes have quite noticeable differences compared to others. So we've got the exceptionals at the front and then the elites. So starting off with an Edge of the World. Not a particularly powerful elite, but it's got some beautiful artwork, that's for sure. Then we've got nothing too special in the ordinaries there. Just double checking, no curios. Yeah, it's one of the things about, you really need to have your wits about you when you're opening sorcery boxes, because I can't be talking too much about things other than the cards I'm opening, because I've got to be concentrating dual side and making sure we're not missing any curios in the ordinary cards. Oh! Second pack Philosopher's Stone. That is not bad at all. Well, that's one of the cards that some people were speculating might be excluded from beta. So there you go. Those of you who don't believe it, it is certainly here in the beta set. So a Philosopher's Stone. And I mean, part of the problem with opening that at the start of the box is it doesn't really get much better than that. So actually, I did bring some sleeves along with me. I'm just gonna pop a sleeve on the pea stone straight away. I mean, I don't like to talk too much about card values on this channel, but one interesting thing, I guess, about alpha compared to beta, obviously there's a difference in how much the boxes are retailing for on the secondary market. But in terms of the actual price to the consumer compared with the Kickstarter, alpha and beta are reasonably similar. And whilst the supply of beta is likely to be significantly larger than alpha, so you're likely to be able to get it at retail price for much longer, it's still not really that cheap to buy the boxes compared to the number of hit slots. So I don't see that we're going to have like a 10 times price difference between beta and alpha singles. I think it's likely we might end up with, because I think the way alpha singles tended to be priced, certainly towards the peak, and I know we've come off a bit from the peak, Another unique number 2, Cerberus in Chains. Not the best of uniques, but certainly powerful at 3 for 5 power. Just very restricted on where you can go with it. I think with where the alpha singles have kind of landed, if you remember my videos that I did about mapping out box values compared to single prices based on number of hit slots, I think we've kind of ended up at the, talking in Australian dollars, the like $500 to $700 range based on the values that the singles are kind of selling for on the secondary market. So that's kind of like $450 to $500 perhaps in terms of US dollars. And what that really means is I think if beta cards do hold their recommended retail price, Might Card Madness for our first foil, not the most exciting foil. If beta boxes do hold at recommended retail price, then you might be looking at half or slightly less in terms of value of most cards. But one thing I'd caution in terms of just extrapolating values from box prices is that the most desirable cards are going to probably hold value in a greater proportion compared to their alpha value, compared to cards that are at the lower end. So whereas you might have seen people willing to pay, $2, $3, even $5 at times for random elites that aren't particularly playable, like Purge Juggernaut, just to try and fill out an alpha set, you're not really going to see people being willing to pay even close to that much, I don't think, for unplayable beta elites. And even a lot of beta uniques, I think, are going to suffer much more harshly in terms of comparative value compared to their alpha counterparts if they're not playable. Whereas I think things like cores and philosopher's stones that are going to be very desirable, and hopefully with a lot more people actually playing the game, they're going to hold their value compared to their alpha counterparts a lot better, I think. I mean, that's just my prediction based on what I would be willing to pay for those cards. It's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. But I think what we'll find is that beta cores and philosopher's stones and those sorts of things are probably going to be closer to 50% of the alpha value, I'd say, would be my initial guess, at least as a starting point. And then who knows where it'll shake out after that. It all depends on how many people actually play the game, how many people want to pick these things up to play with and build decks and participate in tournaments. Because the more people that want to do that, the more those desirable cards are going to be in circulation and have demand for them. And we aren't obviously sure what the supply side is going to look like for beta 100%, but at least in the initial period, a lot of places are sold out or have some delays or whatever else. And if that persists and there's not a large further wave of beta that comes in the short term, like in the next 2-3 months, I think as people are putting together decks and starting to participate in constructed tournaments, we'll probably start to see those prices stabilizing. So unique number 3 we're up to there, Pact with the Devil. So still only one foil in this box, but I mean, we did start off with a banger on the Philosopher's Stone as a non-foil, unique. So we can't really complain there. First foil, Minecart Madness, not super exciting. But certainly Philosopher's Stone, a great unique to start off with. So, opening all these packs upside down. Trin Constrictor, Cathera Mechanism, an interesting one. It hasn't ended up seeing a lot of play in most meta decks, but the ability is so powerful, and the fact that you can fetch it with Highland Princess because it's a 1 cost means that this card has a lot of upside and a lot of potential. The ability to control and determine random outcomes. Anytime there's a dice roll, anytime there's anything random, like even something as basic as Lightning Bolt, being able to control that can be very powerful. And the fact that you can fetch Cathera Mechanism, as I said, off Highland Princess, means it is just that little bit more powerful than it seems on its own as a unique to chuck into your deck. Some nice ordinaries in that pack. Wouldn't have minded picking that one up in a sealed event. Grapple Shot, Blink, a few other goodies. So what do we got here? Blaze, Assylian Cyclops, Headless Haunt, and a Pathfinder, unique number 4 now. So, sorry, 5. So we've got unique so far. The Philosopher's Stone, Cerberus in Chains, Pact with the Devil, Cathera Mechanism, and the Pathfinder. Beautiful art from Drew Tucker. A very powerful avatar. One that, shout out to Zach Attack in the league. Zach's been doing a lot of work trying to get the most out of Pathfinder's card advantage, mitigate its downsides as much as possible, and it's put up some great results in the league with Pathfinder. So go check out Zach's decks. Zach Attack, I think, is Zach's handle on Curiosa. If you want to find some good Pathfinder builds. So Fey Changeling, Floodplain, Bane Widow, and an Orb of Balbereth. So we're getting all the uniques here. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. And again, very powerful, 5 cost. And I think in the future, as we see more magic themed decks and more magics in the game, full stop, things like Orb of Balbereth only get better and better. As well as the fact that in Alpha, you know, the acceleration that we have in terms of burst acceleration in the form of the mixers can't actually be used to cast artifacts, because it only helps you cast spells and only gives you the discount if the spells have the element associated with the mix. So it actually can't be used for things like Orb of Balbereth to accelerate them out. If we see more acceleration like the cause in the future that allows you to actually use that mana for artifacts, then I think those 5 and 6 mana artifacts will get a lot better. Major Explosion there. A very nice elite in Death Speaker decks and other control decks. Good way to get some damage in the late game. Yeah, so I've been really enjoying filling out the rest of my decks with some more foils. Have almost managed to fully foil out Battle Mage deck. Almost fully foiled out an Avatar of Earth deck as well, and getting close on a Death Speaker deck. So I've got an aggro, a control, knocked over the pile of ordinaries, always a risk. So I've got an aggro, a control, and a mid-range deck that I'm pretty happy with. And then a couple of other decks, got the Wave Shaper, because I really do enjoy trying to make water work. Haven't quite got it to tier 1 yet, but it can take games off any of those other decks that I've built. And then, yeah, heaps of other awesome decks to try and put together in the meta, but those are the ones that I've currently got the cards for, and almost managed to foil out a few of them. Going to be continuing that quest as I play through all of our beta release events at Plenty of Games. Very excited to have Mike Hort, who's one of the Sorcery game designers, coming to our beta release event on Sunday, release week, which is only a couple of days away, and I'm speaking to you in this video. Yeah, it's going to be great to have Mike there, have a chat about his thoughts on game design and sorcery, and perhaps what's coming in the future, if he's willing to give our players a few little hints. I'm sure Eric will not like to see too many things leaking out, but we might be able to get a couple of things out of Mike. You never know. I'm sure he'll be solid as a rock, but we'll try our best, I'm sure. But in general, it'll just be great to hear his thoughts on the game, and great for our players in our local scene to have an opportunity to speak to someone from Eric's Curiosa who's so closely involved in the Grey Wolves, always nice to see, in the design and development of sorcery. And the other thing is, we're very happy to have our prize kits. So the Eric's Curiosa has put together some organized play kits to come along with the beta release events. So some stores have got those, and we're lucky enough to have our hands on some, which we're very excited to give out to players. Battle Mage, always a favorite. Because, yeah, having some playmats, some promos. Oh, very nice looking foil Upwelling. Again, not the best of foils. We've got two kind of mediocre exceptional foils, the Minecart Madness and then the Upwelling. But that's all right. Hopefully more good ones to come. And we did start off strong with that stone. I mean, just imagine the content if we managed to get a foil Philosopher's Stone as well as that non-foil stone in the same box. Dual sights, like to keep those aside. Windmill, one of the best. Earth and Air. Mega Amoeba. And then have we got a foil in this pack? Oh, it's nice looking as well. Foil Wings of Invention. Should be, maybe I'll show off the back sides of all the foils at the end together. But yeah, Wings of Invention, beautiful. Beautiful artwork. the contrast. Yellow and blue is always, yellow, blue, white is always such a nice color combination. And it looks fantastic on that card. Who did the art for this? Elvira Shakarova. Gorgeous. So, foil there. So how many? We've got 3 foils now. So we're expecting probably 8-ish foils in each box I've found in beta. And then around 8-ish uniques as well. 7 to 8 uniques. So it's kind of 8 to 9 foils, 7 to 8 uniques. Because uniques are 1 in every 5 packs, I believe, and foils are 1 in every 4. So they're slightly more frequent than uniques. Yeah, so we've got our beta release events this weekend. We've got a draft on Saturday night, and then a sealed event on Sunday afternoon. Nice to give people who've... Oh, Earthquake, one of the best elites in the set. People who've got a bit more experience under the belt with Alpha, the opportunity to come along and draft, because draft is just that little bit more skill testing than sealed and can be a little bit deeper for players who are a bit more familiar with the set. But sealed is a great way for new players to come along and play. And we've found at all the sealed events we've run at our store, I think we've run 3 or 4 now with Alpha cards. We found at all those events that we've had new players coming along, sometimes for their first game of Sorcery at the event, which has been very cool. Angel's Egg, another nice elite. And nothing else in that pack. Just move a chunk of these ordinaries off to the side, actually, because otherwise I am definitely going to knock them over. So, Enemy Undine, Dodge Roll, Minecart Madness, and a Polymorph. Another probably, I think, underrated water spell. Transforming a nearby minion into a frog token is pretty much hard removal. Like you're turning it into a 0 power, 0 power minion token, getting rid of all its abilities. It does have to be nearby the spellcaster, which can be a little bit restrictive. But if you're playing a more defensive deck and you're worried about minions coming to you, it can be good. There are a lot of spaces that are nearby to the site in front of where your avatar starts as well. So, and a lot of the action in the game tends to take place on sites that are nearby to that. So it can actually be a bit easier than you think a lot of the time to turn on proximity nearby your avatar. Nothing much in that particular pack. So we're getting towards the end of the box. We're expecting another 5 or so foils at this point. And maybe, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe 1 or 2 more uniques as well. So Infernal Legion as our elite. And here's a foil in this pack. What does that look like? Ooh, that looks like maybe a Frost Nova or something. Fireball, the opposite of a Frost Nova. So I'll put those ordinaries away. Beautiful foil Fireball. Good for all those Avatar of Fire players out there. And just players who enjoy gorgeous artwork like this. Very iconic and evocative old school artwork from Doug Kovacs. So at this stage, given how few of the curios in the set have actually been revealed, I mean, I know what one of them is. You can check out my curio reveal video on the channel. But yeah, we don't know what the others are. And if there are any that are ordinary rarity, I'm definitely not picking those up on the way through. With the speed at which I go through, I basically just try and check whether there's anything that is not ordinary in the ordinary slots. And if not, then I skip past. So Mixed Terror, obviously a great elite. One of the mixes, always good to get those. And it looks like we've got a foil peeking out the back of this pack as well. So the foil is a Scenthounds. Not the best foil. Not the best foil, not going to lie. Gorgeous artwork. Cute dogs. Not a great foil. Alright, so we're down to probably about 8 packs left here, I think. And we're expecting maybe 3 or 4 more foils and 1 more unique, I reckon. So Imperial Road, Critical Strike. Alright, what's this foil? This looks like a... Is it a fire spell? Pit Vipers? Yeah, Pit Vipers. So again, not a particularly exciting foil, but for those snake fans out there, of course, Pit Vipers is another win. Ordinaries. And yeah, as I said, I've had a few gameplay videos as well with Hayne from Wizard's Den. It was great to do that series with Hayne. Lots of fun games and still so much more to explore in terms of the beta avatars. Oh, Mariner's Curse. That's a nice one. An exceptional, and one that I think I actually need for my Wave Shaper deck in foil. So always excited to pick up things that I can slot straight into decks as foils. Gorgeous. Gorgeous artwork, that one. Very creepy looking mermaid gargoyle on the front of that ship. Do you call it a gargoyle when it's a ship on a ship? I'm sure there's a specific word for that. Elvira again. Actually, I think that's the other Elvira. Elvira Padmakovska. I think the other one was Elvira Shakarova. The Wings of Invention. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Bridge Troll, Scavenging Fiend, Planner Gate. So a couple of packs left now. Maybe one more foil, one more unique, I reckon. If we're lucky. Hopefully we can go out with a bang on both the foil and the unique here, if we do get another one of each. No unique in that pack. Standing Stones is an elite. And then ordinaries all the way to the back. No foil. So 4 more packs including this one. Chain Lightning, Vanguard Knights, True Sight Crossbow, Conqueror Worm. Expensive, powerful, in the right control deck. Not one that I've made work particularly well yet, but there are some players out there who have played Roots of Yggdrasil and Conqueror Worm and Land Deed and really put people out of the game that way. Free City, a very nice site. Guy Hippogriffs, Clamor of Harpies, and there we go. One of the Frazetta replacements, Death Dealer. Gorgeous Brian Smith artwork. Very evocative of what the Death Dealer is doing. Had a bit of a chat about this in my previous video about the Frazetta replacement arts, and yeah, very nice to hit one there. Death Dealer and Philosopher's Stone in a box is definitely nice. As well as a couple of nice foils. No unique foils yet. Still, hopefully in the last 2 packs, one more foil to find, but that was a nice unique to end on. So we started and finished strong, I think, on the uniques there. Philosopher's Stone and Death Dealer at our bookends. Oh, and Plague of Frogs, another unique. So that takes us, we'll count up the uniques at the end, but I think that takes us up to 9 or 10. And Updraft Ridge as maybe our last foil. Not the most exciting of foils, again, but a beautiful sight. And, oh, I did skip through a couple of ordinaries here, just to make sure we didn't get a curio. A Blizzard, Extinguish, no, nothing too special. Got excited by the shiny foil. So last pack of the box. Could be one last foil if we're going to go overs, but I think we're already a little bit overs on the uniques after hitting that Plague of Frogs. So let's see. House Bannerman, Self-Same Simulacrum, Wall of Ice, Fire Harpoons, Amazon Warriors, and looks like no foil in this box. I don't think, sorry, in this pack. And that's it. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 uniques. So I did miscount slightly. That's not too far above average. That's right on average. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 foils as well. So let's take a closer look at these. So in terms of the foils, we've got the Updraft Ridge that we finished on. Beautiful full art. The Mariner's Curse, which we had a bit of a peek at before. See that anchor hanging out down the bottom there? Don't really see that with the text box covering it. Pit Vipers, freaky looking Viper Nest. The Scent Hounds, which we had a little bit of a look at already. Andrea Modesti with that classic style. Fireball from Doug Kovacs. It's a beautiful piece of artwork, this one. Really like it. Wings of Invention. Yeah, I really like the colors in that one as well. Upwelling from, is that Alan Pollack? Yeah. Alan Pollack's artwork. Actually looks really cool, the colors in on the back there. It's a little bit more muted on the front, on the foil side. And then Matt Thames with the Minecart Madness. Very cool. And then for the uniques, we've got the Plague of Frogs, very powerful water unique. The Death Dealer, Orb of Balberith, Pathfinder, always nice to get more of those. Kithera Mechanism, lots of power in that one in the future, I reckon. Pact with the Devil, good in the Death Speaker deck. Cerberus in Chains, and then of course the Philosopher's Stone that we started off with. It's been great to be here with you today and open a box of Sorcery Beta. Always nice to hit a Philosopher's Stone. And I'll be heading down to our pre-release, or I should say our release events this weekend at Plenty of Games. Hope to see some of you there. And then look forward to sharing the stories of the pre-release with you, let you know a little bit about what happened, and then we'll be starting our constructed tournaments in a couple of weeks' time. So I'll be sharing my deck lists, sharing my thoughts on the constructed metagame, and hopefully sharing some more stories about Sorcery Contested Realm gameplay over the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the beta launch, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.